Welcome to the Motocross Supercross podcast. Podcast.
3, 2, 1, 0.
Motocross Supercross podcast.
Episode 204. We got Houston in the books. Round 13. This episode, we are recapping this 250 class. I'm Adam here with Claudio. What's up, Claudio?
Yo, 250 recap. Here we go.
Yeah, we saw the Triple Crown this week, and I gotta say, a little bit of everything we wanted to happen, happened. It was just like an amazing night of racing. It was insane.
It really was. It was a great night. 250 and 450 class. They were both very interesting. A lot of things happened, so let's get to it.
Yep, some predictions came true, and let's start this night with the qualifying times. As you know, the qualifying happened early. The top 18 go directly to the night show, and then those last four positions are battled for at the end of practice, that LCQ. But first, let's talk about these qualifying times. AC, no surprise. Actually, maybe it is kind of a surprise that he was on top. Dylan Ferrandis has been doing so good this year, obviously, in qualifying, but it's no surprise that it's either of them, and both of them running 1 and 2. Might be a little surprising, though, that Chris Bloss was the third fastest, even though last week he looked insane. And RJ right there in fourth. Colt Nichols coming back from his injury in fifth. Michael Mosman 6th, Jimmy Dakota 7th, Jacob Hayes 8th. We had, again, there was just kind of the same lap times we've seen all year. 47.4 was the fastest. Dude, this track was insane. It was gnarly. There was a couple crashes in this qualifying, like AC and Ferrandis both went down in that sand section right there.
Yeah, Jimmy D also went down.
Dude, Ferrandis' crash actually was really hard. He landed on that bike pretty insanely.
He doesn't care, man. He doesn't care. He's from France, man. They're world champs.
He just got up, shook his head, and he was good to go. So,
yeah, he said, oui.
Yeah, so we said Jacob Hayes was the 8th fastest, Garrett Marchbanks was 9th, and then we had Cameron McAdoo, Justin Starling, Sean Cantrell, Robbie Wageman, Michael Lieb, Bradley Leonette, Chris Howell, Dylan Merriam, and Logan Carno getting that 18th. Those people going straight to the night show, which is also straight to the main events, because there was 3 of them, and going to the LCQ, Killian Alberson, Martin Costello, Matthias Jorgensen, Brandon Leith, Van Martin, Ron Cross, all those guys, Devin Harriman, all going to the LCQ. And this LCQ was kind of crazy for a couple of reasons. And one, there was only 11 riders in this.
Yeah, so only 11 riders on this race. And remember, only 4 go straight through. So your odds on this one were a little bit better, especially if you're in this LCQ. And somebody that took advantage of that was Martin Costello.
Yeah, well, and it's funny, too, because at the beginning of this LCQ, he, went down. He went down right there on the start. He was actually trying to pass for the lead. He goes down. He kind of, threw his hands up in the air, and it looked like it was over for him, but he was able to catch back up, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I mean, but Martin got the whole shot real quick. Like you mentioned, Costello tried to make a move for the lead, but he went down. Bondlesberg also, after a good jump, will go trying to make a move. But he will also go down after he got bumped by Jorgensen. He found himself back in a qualifying spot, back battling it out. He was battling out with Alberson for third spot. They got together. Alberson looked like Webb going over the top blocks and making passes. Costello, like you said, he went down in the start. After going down, he made up all the way to the 5th spot. And he will get 4th spot after Ben Martin went down in the whoop section and put himself out of the night show. Costello, who will be battling with Jorgensen again. Jorgensen battling out with a JMC guy. What's going on with that? And
he's got beef.
Yeah, apparently, he's like, you guys are all the same. He found himself battling it out with Costello, which they didn't really have to. I felt like Jorgensen was doing the same thing he was doing to Howell. Just kind of don't let him, square him up. Jorgensen actually put a pretty aggressive move on Martin Costello at the end for the quote-unquote qualifying position, but the joke's on him because they were both in.
Yeah, exactly. They were both in. Tough break from Van Martin after getting that hole shot and not making it in, but it was
great
a
hole shot too. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just a good gift for Costello to get in after especially falling in that second corner, and only 11 people in that class, and Devin Harriman just missing it, getting that 5th place position. So Brandon Leith, Killian Alberson, Matthias Jorgensen, Martin Costello, those 4 guys going to the night show. 3 main events.
Right.
And let's jump into these main events because there is so much to talk about, especially in this first one. It was just like wild. It was crazy. So much happened. Let's jump into it.
Let's do it. Dude, McAdoo, he tried to steal the whole shot in the last second, and he will get it over everyone.
Yeah, he was the only one, like, it was pretty, like, ballsy move jumping that first little double right there, too. He's the only one who hit it, but it looked like he hit it a little crooked and just landed right in the tough blocks, and, yeah, he went down pretty fast, and he had AC right on the inside of him, so easily he jumped out front and looked like it was over right there from the, 5 seconds into the race.
Yeah, but Jimmy D was not going to let that happen as he was following Adam Cicerulo really, really close, and he had a really great start. Mosman also had a really good start, and RJ Hampshire, probably the best performers by him this year thus far.
Oh, yeah. On that very first section, he jumped that triple and literally landed right between Dakotas and Mosman. It was just like an insane thing to watch. Like, I couldn't believe he hit that triple, and he just landed right between him. It was just like... It was insane. He's got some balls, that's for sure.
Those 3 guys had a great battle throughout the whole night, throughout all the main events, too. Mosman not so much on the third one, but we'll get there. Sean Cantrell, who is coming back from injury, will put a move on Jacob Hayes, and we'll get the 4th spot, but it wasn't easy because Jacob actually answered and passed him back. A really good pass by Jacob Hayes.
Yeah, Jacob Hayes looked really good. He was actually running like 4th, and then Cantrell was in 5th, and Ferranda, they were in front of Ferrandis and Nichols. They were like 7th, 8th. Starling had a decent start. He was up there in 9th, and Blos, that 3rd fastest qualifier, was like all the way back in 10th at the beginning of this race. But you want to hear something messed up?
Obviously.
I'm sure you didn't have this problem because you were watching this on the Gold Pass, but I like to watch the races on my DirecTV so I can easily like work the remote and stuff. It's just easier for me. But anyways... Literally, on the first lap of this race, they weren't even halfway done with the first lap, and it cut to 3 commercials, like so randomly. And it was just the most messed... Yeah, exactly. It was so messed up. I was like yelling, like, what the... Like, I was yelling so loud. Like, my brother came in, he's like, dude, who crashed? I was like, oh, yeah, no one crashed. Just, it cut to commercial. Look at this. And I rewound it and I showed him. He's like, that's messed up. So
yeah, DirecTV crashed on you.
Yeah, I don't know if it was DirecTV or the broadcast or,
Well, I got you, bro, because Jimmy Dakotas was actually keeping Adam Cicerulo still, keeping him honest, bro, and not letting him go, but he will make a mistake and allowed RJ to actually close the gap on him, and AC will also open up the gap on the 2nd spot. RJ will eventually get Jimmy D for the 2nd spot. Ferrandis, who makes a great pass on Mosman and also on Jacob Hayes, who were battling it out. And here comes Dylan Ferrandis. He gets a 2-fer and move up to the 4th spot.
Yo, speaking of Jimmy Dakotas real quick, there was something that happened when him and RJ were battling. And whenever Dakotas, that wall jump that Ferrandis and AC crashed on in practice, Jimmy Dakotas hits that wall jump, did the same thing everyone else did, where he just, because they have to kind of scrub it whenever they hit it because they're coming out of that turn. And they were all landing like little off balance in the deep sand, and they just cut way left off the track. Well, Jimmy Dakotas went off the track, and I don't know if you caught this, but not only did he cut a good portion of the track, he was going pretty fast to stay in front of RJ.
Well, yes, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. But I feel like the quote unquote amount of time that he was off the track was not that much, because it was like right there was like the starting gate pretty much. So that's why it wasn't like so suspicious. But I do get what you're saying. He did sped up a little bit, and whenever he fell down. Well, he didn't go down, but he definitely made a huge mistake who allowed RJ to close the gap on him.
Yeah, and we've seen in the past, like riders in the mud. I forget what mud race it was, but someone fell in the corner, got up, and just kept going, and they cut the turn, and then they were docked positions for that. And Jimmy Dakotas, not only did he cut the turn, he was going really fast, not inside of the tough block. So just something interesting to note there. It's not that I want him to get penalized. I'm just saying that's definitely something that could have been penalized in my eyes, at least. But,
yeah, well, it doesn't matter because Ferrandis will cut off to Jimmy.
Oh, yeah.
And he will make a very fast pass throughout one of the rhythm sections. I don't know if you caught that. He was like, I don't know how he did it, but he was like skimming all of them, I feel like.
Yeah, he was just like going step on. He was doing like the little step on, step off. He was just like jumped them all. It was like insane. It was so fast.
It was insane. Like, I don't know how he did it, but I don't know. He skipped. I don't know what he did, which was probably one of the most important pass for Ferrandis at this point in the race, because Ferrandis didn't have a good start, so he kind of worked himself up. Putting himself in third place would give him a chance to still be able to win this, but he ended up getting RJ for second, and that was a way better pass or more important pass than the one on Jimmy.
Exactly.
Because he definitely put himself in a much, much better place going into this, rest of the night, pretty much, because this is only main event number one.
Of course.
Jimmy Dakotas, so he will make a mistake, and he will let Nichols go by.
And Mosman, he had a terrible last 2 laps.
Yeah, exactly. So that's gonna be pretty much it. Ferrandis, he had a horrible start, like I just mentioned. He moved all the way to second spot, which is not a bad thing for him or anyone, especially with this 10 minutes main events.
Yep, so AC, though, he dominated everybody. He ended up winning by like 8 seconds over Dylan Ferrandis. RJ Hampshire, third place. Someone predicted that. That was you in our pick show. Michael Mosman got 4th. Colt Nichols got 5th. Jimmy Dakotas got 6th. Jacob Hayes got 7th. Chris Blows got 8th. Cameron McAdoo got 9th. Garrett Marchbanks got 10. Sean Cantrell got 11. Justin Starling got 12. Dylan Merriam got 13. Killian Alberson got 14th. Martin Costello got 15th. Michael Lee got 16th. Logan Cardinal got 17th. Chris Howell got 18th. Brandon Leith got 19th. Matthias Jorgensen got 20th. Bradley Leonette got 21st. And Robbie Wageman was 22nd in that first main event. AC led all 14 laps.
Yeah, AC, he did doing what he had to do, jumping up front and see ya.
I was feeling pretty good.
Letting everybody else dealing with the problems.
I was feeling pretty good after this race. I was like, oh, AC, I picked him to win, and he just dominated everybody, so it looks like I'm going to win. But that all changed here in this second main event.
But yeah, the whole show's going to go to AC on the second main event, but he will collide with Jacob Hayes and also with Cameron McAdoo, who is again in another bad situation off the start.
That's right. And at this time, Adam Cianciarulo, like you said, he went off the track. He did the right thing. He made sure he did not throttle coming back on the track because he fell all the way back to like 10th. So he definitely had a lot of work to do.
Although he managed to kept it in the riding or whatever, but AC will go off the track. And RJ will take the lead on this one with a very close Chris Blows, who will make a move on him, right there in the second turn. But yeah, RJ, who's coming from an excellent first main event, will go up front. Blows will make a pass for the lead on him on the next turn. RJ will go to second, but not for long because Ferrandis will actually pass RJ for the second spot and go on the hunt for Chris Blows.
And like you said, Ferrandis was making his charge towards the front. And when he got behind Chris Blows, things got a little real because he put him right into the tough blocks. And he fell pretty hard right on his face.
Yeah, you're not lying about that. He hit hard and he was, bummed out because he had a great start. He's looking fast. And
took him a minute to get up, too.
I don't think it was a dirty pass either, this Ferrandis just kind of came in the inside and just ran him high, and top blocks was right there. But other than that, I feel like it was good racing, especially by Dylan Ferrandis.
Yeah, he did apologize on his Instagram though. He wasn't proud of that pass he put on him. So what you gonna do? And then also Chris Blows mentioned on his Instagram like, I was doing so awesome until a certain rider took me out, kind of thing.
Yeah, I saw someone that was like, "Oh, they're not gonna penalize Ferrandis for that," and I was like, "Dude, shut up."
He didn't get hurt, but it did take him a minute to get up. That's for sure.
meanwhile, AC dealing with another problem after going down after the over-under.
Yeah.
And
He
it
hits,
was a weird crash, I guess. I don't know what happened to him.
well, on the replay, you see he hits Sean Cantrell in the air, and then he lands just like in the worst position because it's blind. There's no flagger there at that jump. And first we see Starling comes over and actually hits him. Like, obviously not hard. He was on the brakes pretty good, and AC
so
saw
lucky.
him coming. But Starling hit him, and then like right before he goes to pick up his bike, you see him just like look back over the jump and then just like kind of rush out of the way, and that's when Chris Howell comes and lands right into his bike, and he goes over the bars. So it was just a terrible flagging job right there. I could not believe that happened.
WTF, where is the flagger? Like, the flagger was sitting like after the jump, like nobody could see him. He wasn't even like on the track. He was like in the middle of an area.
Yeah, and I think it was a girl too. Not that it matters, but I think she was. I think she. You said he. That's what I was just saying. I think she was like
flagger.
She was just like waving the flag, just like woohoo, and then nobody could see her anyways because she's in the worst
spot.
Here we
go. We're gonna get canceled now. Good job.
So male flag is only from now on.
Yeah, AC will drop down to 18th place.
Oh man,
and it kind of sucked for him because, we're all looking for an AC, battle up front. But
for the points,
it's also about them points.
It was beautiful.
It was a good, definitely what Ferrandis was looking for. Nichols will get Marshbanks for third, but that's pretty much all that will happen here. Adam ran out of time, and he will finish in 10th place.
Yeah, not even what Ferrandis was looking forward to. This is what I was looking forward to. I was hoping something happened to AC that just makes these points closer, and this was it right there.
There you go. So Dylan Ferrandis will take the win on this one. RJ in second place, Marshbanks in third, Cole Nichols in fourth, Jamie Dakotas in fifth, Cameron McAdoo in sixth, Sean Cantrell in seventh, Justin Starling in eighth after almost running over AC, Michael Lieb in ninth, Adam Cincerulo all the way in 10th, like we mentioned, Dylan Merriam in 11th, Martin Costello in 12th, Logan Carno in 13th, Brandon Leith in 14th, Matthias Jorgensen in 15th, Killian Albertson in 16th, Chris Howell in 17th, Michael Mosman in 18th, Chris Blows in 19th, Jacob Hayes in 20th, Bradley Leonette in 21st, and then Robbie Wageman again in 22nd, which is pretty much a DNS.
That's right. So Chris Blows, he led one lap, and then Dylan Ferrandis led the other 12.
All right, but moving into this main event number 3, we got a very confident Dylan Ferrandis, especially after Adam Cincerulo ran into some trouble in the second main. But this whole shot is going to be for Colt Nichols, who will take it with a Ferrandis really, really, really close by. Also right there, or honorable mention, I would say, RJ with another great star. Martin Costello, who also had a good star, but will make a little mistake and get past very quickly right there on the start. AC, who manages to skip the pile-up, which, by the way, I don't know if you saw it, but it included Marshbanks, who went down, who ran into Merriam, who ran into Blows, who ran into Howell, and also Jacob Hayes, were all affected on Marshbanks going down.
That was a really crazy crash because he got bumped and he just went flying. He was on the inside of that turn and he went flying all the way to the outside. Literally, bikes, I don't know how he didn't get hit by anyone. It's a miracle that he literally was right between the bikes that went past. I don't even know how to describe it because he was flying sideways and the bikes were going forward, and the first one missed him and the second one missed. It was insane. It was just
that's what I'm saying.
Crash.
All those guys I just mentioned, they all got affected by Marshbanks going down. AC will not miss the next collision though, because most men went down in the whoop section. AC will run into him, and then Alberson will run into those two right after AC crashes into Mosman. And again, Adam Cincerulo with another mistake, another pressure on this Triple Crown format, and that's not really good for him. And it will be Ferrandis and Nichols who will battle it up front, but not for too long or too aggressive, I feel like Ferrandis was just kind of putting it out there to see if like Nichols will let him go by or if it'll be easy to let him go by. But he saw that Nichols was not going to let him have it so easy. He just kind of like backed up.
And
That's
it didn't
just my
matter at that
opinion.
point anyways, because Ferrandis had the overall. He knew he won. Whenever he came across the finish, he was like celebrating pretty hardcore. And this race definitely wasn't as exciting as the other ones because of the AC going down and stuff. And the two Yamaha guys just running away out front. They weren't really battling hardcore like we saw teammates in the 450s doing. So it was a pretty good race, though. It was just a good night of racing.
No, definitely. It was awesome. I mean, we had in this third main event, we had the Yamaha guys battling it up. We had the Honda guys also battling it up for third and fourth. That's obviously until AC catches them and pass them both and puts them, it puts himself in third place. But again, he will run out of time, and it will be Colt Nichols who will win this one, this main event. But it will be Ferrandis who's going to take the overall. Colt Nichols will win. Ferrandis in second. Adamson Cirulo moved all the way up to third. RJ with a fourth spot. Cameron McAdoo in fifth. Jimmy Dakotas in sixth. Chris Blows in seventh. Justin Starling in eighth. Martin Costello in ninth. Jacob Hayes in 10th. Logan Cardinal in 11th, which is, I feel like he did really good in this Triple Crown, even though we didn't really mention him much.
Yeah.
Michael Lieb in 12th. Sean Control in 13th. Michael Mosman in 14th. Good for him after going down. I mean, it would have been better if it was like a third, like AC did, but Brandon Leith in 15th, Matthias Jorgensen in 16th, Chris Howell in 17th, Killian Oberson in 18th, Garrett Marshbanks in 19th, Dylan Marion in 20th, Brandon Lynette in 21st, and then Robbie Wageman in 22nd.
That's right. So the overall, as we said, Dylan Ferrandis takes it with a 2-1-2. RJ Hampshire gets your second overall, going 3-2-4. Colt Nichols rounding off that podium, third place, going 5-4-1. Adam Cianciarulo, fourth place, 1-10-3. So that is really good for the points. We're going to jump into that in a second, let you know what that looks like. But Jimmy Dakotas got fifth, Kramer McAdoo got sixth, Justin Starling got seventh overall, Sean Cantrell got eighth, Garrett Marchbanks got ninth, and Chris Blows 10th overall, Martin Costello 11th. Like I said, dude, this Triple Crown was awesome. It was so exciting, literally the whole time. It was just like...
I love it.
Yeah, I love it too. I wish we could do more. We definitely need more Triple Crowns.
Yeah, less showdowns and more Triple Crowns.
Yeah, a little bit of everything. How about a showdown Triple Crown?
Showdown, that'll be like the ultimate Joker lane. Like, you just blew my mind right now.
Yeah, with a Joker lane or something. They just throw it all together. That would be nice. That would be nice.
$1 million too to the winner.
So back to these points. Adam Cianciarulo is still the red plate holder. He has 182 points, but the gap is closed. 5 points behind in second place.
Yes.
Dylan Ferrandis, 177.
Yes.
This is coming down. This is coming down. I mean, there's going to be obviously not racing next week because Nashville, but whenever they come back for Denver, it's only that in Vegas. So it is exciting between those two. Colt Nichols still sitting in third. Colt Nichols has 140 points, so he's way behind Dylan Ferrandis and Adam Cianciarulo, but he's also pretty far ahead of RJ Hampshire, who's in fourth.
Yeah.
But RJ has a company with Shane McElrath. We'll see if he could come back. I know they talked about him a little bit on the broadcast about possibly going to the 450s and stuff, so we'll have to just follow that story. But Jimmy Dakotas in sixth place in the points, Chris Blow 7th, Cameron McAdoo 8th, Michael Mosman 9th, and Garrett Marchbanks is your 10th in the points.
That's right. Yeah, man. That's a great night of racing. I told you Ferrandis was going to win it. I told you RJ was going to get on the podium. I said third, but still on the podium. That's really freaking good for him, especially after like 4 years of not being up there. You did mention that Adam was not going to be in the podium. So
nope, not this week. Actually, that was last week. This week I had him winning, so I messed that up. I was 1 week ahead.
Yeah, you were. Well, not me. So that's all that really matters here. But yeah, that's it for this episode. Make sure you guys are following us at MXSX Podcast on Instagram, everywhere pretty much. Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat. I don't know what else. But yeah, another great night of racing as we winding down to this championship. 2 more races left. And that's it, man.
Yep, we'll see you for our 450 recap next time. Peace.